Hello students, this is Ujjwala Bhandiwad, lecturer from KLS Gokte PU College of Commerce and Science, Belagavi. In the last class, we have started with a new chapter that is inheritance. We have understood what is inheritance, how to implement the inheritance. Just I will recall. Inheritance is a capability of one class to inherit the properties from another class. Okay. Here we have learned two important definitions. One is base class and another one is derived class. Also we have learned by using the syntax how we can derive a new class from a base class. Okay, this we have learned in the last chapter. Okay, now in today's class we are going to continue with that chapter and we are going to learn what are the different types of inheritance. This is important for 5-mark question, students. See, inheritance is classified into 5 different categories or 5 different forms. It is known as levels of inheritance. Okay, the classification of inheritance we call it as levels of inheritance. First one is single level inheritance, next multi-level inheritance, third one is multiple inheritance, fourth one is hierarchical inheritance, fifth one is hybrid inheritance. So now let us understand each one of them, okay, with the help of example. First one is single inheritance. Okay, means what? If the class is derived from a single base class, it is known as single inheritance. You can see here, students. If a class is derived, okay, what is happening here? There is a base class and only from a one single base class we are obtaining a new class. That new class we call it as a derived class. Okay, then such type of inheritance we call it as a single level inheritance. This new class will obtain characteristic from, or you can say features from, a single base class. Example I can give here, you can see here. Suppose I take father as a base class. Okay, from a father, son or a daughter, you can take anyone. Okay, son will inherit the characters or features from a father. Okay, here son is our derived class and base class is a father. Okay, so this is the example of single level inheritance. Now let me give you the second level of inheritance, that is multi-level inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? You can see the classes can also be derived from a class that is already derived. This type of inheritance we call it as multi-level inheritance. Okay, students, please understand it carefully. See here. Here, to understand the multi-level inheritance, first consider the base class. Okay, so there is a base class, and from the base class we have created one new class, that is derived class 1. Again from the new class whatever we have created, we are creating one more class, you can see, that is derived class 2. Like that we can create n number of classes. Are you understanding? Okay, so the classes can be derived from a class that is already derived. Here what has happened? The class 2, derived class 2 is obtained from a derived class 1, which is again derived only. Okay, from a base class. So this concept we call it as multi-level inheritance. Let me give you an example. Okay, son is derived characters from his father. Okay, father is also deriving characters from his father, that is grandfather. So grandfather is a base class, father is a derived class 1, and son is a derived class 2. Like that we can get n number of classes. This concept we call it as multi-level inheritance. Now comes multiple inheritance. Okay, so what is multiple inheritance? You can see here, if the class is derived from a more than one base class, it is known as multiple inheritance. Students, till now I was talking there will be only single class, okay, single base class. But now I am telling class is derived means new class I am creating from more than one base class, then it is called as multiple inheritance. Means whatever the new class I am creating, it will have a characteristics from not only one base class, from many base classes. Okay, to show you, let us consider the diagram here. Here there is a base class 1, you can see base class 1, base class 2. Okay, similarly I can have n number of classes, base class n. Okay, from all these base classes I will create a new class, that is derived class, and this derived class will have a characters or a features of base class 1, base class 2 and base class n. Okay, so to show you this, I will give you example. The prince is a derived class here. He will get the characters from a king as well as queen. Okay, so this is an example of multiple inheritance. Students, please remember, when they ask you to explain the types of inheritance, you have to give the definition, you have to write the definition, you have to write these two examples of all the levels. Okay, don't write only one example, you have to write both these examples. The now next one is hierarchical inheritance. So what is hierarchical inheritance? If a number of classes are derived from a single base class, it is called as hierarchical inheritance. Means what? Here the base class will be only one, okay, but we can obtain n number of, we can create n number of derived classes. Then in that case we call it as, it is a hierarchical inheritance. See here, there is only one base class, but I can create derived class 1, derived 2, 3, like that I can create any number of classes. Okay, so such concept we call it as hierarchical inheritance. To show you that, let me take one example. Staff is a base class. Okay, in staff, see, in an organization staff means a base class. Staff may be a lecturers, okay, there may be office staff, there may be group D staff, okay, peons and all we consider in the group D class. So all these different categories will come, but all of them belongs to which base class? Staff of the college. Okay, so this is an example of a hierarchical inheritance. Last one is hybrid inheritance. What is hybrid inheritance means? It is a combination of hierarchical and multi-level inheritance. So students, you have to remember, okay, it is a combination of both hierarchical and multi-level inheritance. Okay, let me show you. Here suppose you have a base class. Okay, from a one base class you can create any number of classes. Class 1 and class 2 are the new classes you have created, then it is called hierarchical inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? From many base classes you can create a new class. See, from again many classes, derived class 1, derived class 2 are there. From that I am creating a new class. So this is nothing but our multi-level inheritance. So the combination of hierarchical and multi-level is known as hybrid inheritance. Okay, let me give you one example. See, I have taken here color as a base class, red and yellow. Okay, these are the derived classes. When again I mix them two, I will get a new color, that is orange. Okay, so this is an example of a hybrid inheritance. Okay, so students, in today's class you have learnt different types of inheritances. Okay, now let me go to the new concept. Okay, already we have completed different types of inheritances. Now let me understand what is the last concept in this chapter is virtual base class. See, virtual base class means what? When two or more objects are derived from a common base class, we can prevent the multiple copies of this base class being present in the object that is derived from a those objects, declaring the base class as virtual. Okay, so this such type of class we call it as virtual base class. Okay, to understand that, let me consider here one simple example. I have here class A, then class B is there, which I am taking inheriting the properties from class A only. Okay, so but I am declaring class A as virtual. Similarly, class C is also inheriting the properties from A only. So there should not be any confusion. Okay, so to avoid that confusion, we are declaring the class A as virtual. Okay, so this is the last concept in this chapter, students. So we have completed our inheritance chapter, which is simple and easy to understand. So let us have few question and answers with it. First question is, what is inheritance? 1 mark question. Then comes second question, what is an abstract class? Okay, see, abstract class means one that is not used to create the any object. Okay, it is a class only, it is used only to act as a base class. Means abstract class means from the abstract class we cannot derive any new class. Okay, we cannot create any new class, but we can act it as a base class. Okay, we can use only as a base class. Such classes we call it as abstract class. This is important for 1 mark question. Then what are the types of inheritance? Explain any two. See, when they ask types of inheritance, you have to write all 5. Explain any two, you have to give their definitions and you have to write both the examples. Okay, then comes what is virtual base class? Give an example, just now we have discussed that. Then comes what are the advantages of inheritance? Okay, so the advantages of inheritance we have discussed in the last class, that is it helps to develop the program in a very faster way. Next is it is memory utilization is very good. Then we can reuse the existing code. Okay, these are the, you can say, few advantages of inheritance. Okay, so students, here we have completed our chapter inheritance. Okay, so please remember important few questions I have given here. Again we will be continuing with our next chapter in the next class. Thank you.